Well then, hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Exotic Racing series. This is round 2 of this pretty short season that we are having going on here, and we are at Imola today for a full 3-session qualifying and a 50% race. Well, I need to adjust my microphone volume apparently, so give me a moment. Alright, we should be good to go now. So, well, if anyone watching thinks either my voice or the game voice is too loud, just type it in Discord since you cannot comment on this website. But other than that, good luck to everyone that's in the lobby, as the 18-minute qualifying 1 session is currently going underway, with one driver on the medium tyres to start things off. That's the baby Drew in the Williams, who's currently 5th in the championship after, well, a 5th place result in the first race of the season. The championship leader currently is his teammate Phoenix, with win and 15 points, leading by 3 points over Stanley Ghost Racing, who's in an Alpine, so both of the rather blue livery cars having a very good opening of the season. Game is a little too high. Alright, cool. I will tune that. No, not invite friends. Let's go to audio settings and drop that down to probably 5. So if it's still too high, I will then move it down to 4. Depends on how it sounds now as we are on board with the baby Drew. And, well, the Williams driver is going to take us away for a lap around Imola. So through turn 1, this is not really a corner. Now this very long but narrow round down to turn 2. The curbs on the inside is very tough here at Variante Tamburello. Coming out of turn 4 is very important because this is a rather long straight for this track. Sliding the car through into Variante Villeneuve and now into the hairpin. A corner that's very easy to lock up. The Tosa corner at turn 7 as the Haas gets out of the way of the baby Drew. Still turn 8, again not a really real corner, but then down to 6th gear into Piratella. A double kind of apex left-hander now into 11, 12 and 13. You really need commitment into this right-hander, because if you carry too little speed, you will lose a lot of ground on the next stride, but if you carry too much speed, there's a very good chance of spinning out. Through the chicane of Variante Outer, and now down towards the final 2 left-handers of turn 17 and 18, the Ravassa. I will take both corners in 4th gear, and so does the baby Drew. By the look of things, you don't really have to shift down to 3rd gear in the final part of the corner, as the baby Drew comes across the line to set a 116.1 on the medium tyres. So not really pushing still, but the current pace setter is TTG Vertex with a 14.6 on the soft tyre. So let's see, Mogovan is on the end of his flying lap and coming across the line using all of his overtake, and that is not a particularly quick lap with a 15.9, as it's only 2/10 faster than the baby Drew on the mediums. Meanwhile, the Alpine of Protocol has set a 14.6 to go to the top 2, only 11 hundredths off of the fastest lap from Vertex, so both Vertex and Protocol should be safe for the first part of qualifying, as Darrow gets out of the way of Arias, who slides through the chicane and losing it on the exit, so that will be an aborted lap for the Haas driver. How about Preco then? He's at the start of his lap actually. Is there anyone finishing it now, as I think a Ferrari maybe finishing his lap? That's probably Kofi, who doesn't set a lap yet. Yep, he's now starting his lap on basically 2 lap old softs now. This is his 2nd push lap. He's probably either cut or had made a mistake in the first flying. He's made another one on the second flying lap. That's not going to do him any favour at all. And he's gone fully wide through the turn 5-6 section. So a very, very scrappy lap from the Ferrari driver. As he tried to build up momentum and go again on the next run maybe. Crico meanwhile, down to the final 2 lap-handers. What's the McLaren driver going to set for his first lap of the session? He's having a bit of lag on my screen. But across the line, it's 15.9. That's 1.5 seconds almost off of the current provisional pole time. And that must be very disappointing. As good old John comes out on the intermediate tyres. Well, I don't think any esports drivers do it anymore. At least from what I have seen so far in this year's esports championship. But John is continuing to use the intermediate strategy. Well, he needs to get out of the way of about 3 or 4 drivers behind him if they do catch him. And sometimes on intermediate tyres, it's really hard to get out of the way of the other drivers. As one of the McLarens is actually Verdeck, who's pushed on and set a faster lap time of a 14.4 in the McLaren. So an improvement for the McLaren driver as Carras comes across the line. It's only P11. That is a shocking lap, some 4 seconds off of Verdeck's pole time. So work to do for Carras. Maybe he's on high fuel. I can't see. He's on 3 laps of fuel. He's not on high fuel, so he must have made another error on his second push lap. Crico is coming around probably to go into the pits. Yes, he is. I think a Red Bull is... that's John who's about to come across the line. How about we look at Pucci, who's on the end of his outlap and about to start his first flying lap of this qualifying session. And let's turn up the volume and enjoy the lap. Definitely not the smoothest lap ever. He's made about 3 mistakes in that lap, so I think he can easily improve by 5/10 on his next go. But we shall turn our attention to Stanley Ghost Racing, because he's currently 2nd in the championship and 3rd on the road in qualifying 1. It's a good start for the Alpine driver. He's put himself well into the top 15 that he needs to be for this first qualifying session. As we shift our attention now to Britain, who just watches John spinning on the intermediate tyres. Well, that was always going to happen. But so Britain has also decided to use medium tyres for the first qualifying run. Apparently very confident of himself to make it out of Q1 on the yellow wall medium tyres. Or he just wants to save some soft tyres for the end of the first qualifying session. Could be either or. As he slides through the chicane, that's absolutely terrible. We could have gone about 2 to 3 tenths faster through the chicane section. But he's on the medium tyres, so we will give him a pass for this one. But definitely, again, a scrappy lap, as the track will get better as the session goes forward. So across the line is only P14 for Britain, and that's clearly not very good, as Raju has just gone to P2 as a 14.6. Stanley currently sitting in P4 and he is about to come into the pits, and I believe he doesn't need to go out anymore, but Verdex is. I'm not understanding why Verdex is going out again. And is he still on the same set? I think he's still on the same set of tires, so that's fine then, because he just wants to drive and drive and drive. Well, it's his choice. He's basically using the final 7 minutes of Q1 as a practice session. And he's put on about 9 laps of fuel according to the dashboard. So clearly a high fuel run for Verdex, so we are going to turn our attention to Pucci, who's currently on his second flying lap, but he's unfortunately cut at some point during the lap, so a 3/10 improvement after 2 sectors is going to be non-existent because this lap doesn't count, but he still has 2 laps of fuel to do another lap. However, he's not confident with himself. And where did Britain just go? He's gone up to P8. That's a better lap, 15.9 on the medium, still some 1.5 seconds off of the pole time, but a much better one on his second try. ERS then, he's made a mistake coming out of this corner. The last time I watched him, he's not made a mistake this time, so let's see how good this lap is then from the Haas driver, who didn't participate in the first round. I don't think so. And nor did Verdex actually, so a couple of reserve drivers, or I have no idea who's the main driver or who's the reserves, but a couple of drivers that haven't participated in the first round are here right now, and ERS is not the fastest currently. It's a 19.4, so a lot of improvement to find for the Haas driver, as his teammate is some 3 seconds ahead of him. So work to do clearly as we look at Daryl, who's just behind him on the road, also on his newest flying lap, and not really taking the best lines through turn 5 and 6. You really have to commit the first part and turn quite early for the second part to get the best rotation and the best cornering speed through there. But now into turn 9, very cautious, you have to say, braked a lot more than you would have wanted. Now slightly lifting off and then using the brakes through, you have to commit to that, and he did, and he spun. That is one of the most dangerous and difficult corners on this circuit, arguably. You have to carry the right amount of speed through the final right corner to make sure you don't lose time and you don't spin. If you take too much, you're gonna spin. If you take too little, you can lose easily half a second, I should say, through that section. So championship leader then Phoenix finally coming out on a flying lap. He's waited, and now finally he's gonna strike. Where can he go then? Oh, that's very deep through turn 2. That's not a very clean turn 3 at all. But this is only qualifying 1. A decent enough lap should be enough for Phoenix to make it through Q1. So nothing to worry yet. Into the Tosa corner where Lewis Hamilton famously, well, he went off here by trying to lap a car and went on to the wet patches. And the red flag caused by Valtteri Bottas and George Russell really saved Hamilton, because otherwise I don't think he can get back to P2 at all. He would have lost a lot of time through the struggle in the gravel as well. The red flag basically completely erases that. But all good for now. It's cloudy, but no rain currently, at least on the screen in game. So not something that the drivers need to worry about yet. We don't know the race weather. But let's see Phoenix. He's going to put himself in P5, and that should be enough to make it through to Q2. So he doesn't need to push on if he doesn't want to. And ERS actually has set a very good lap time, and he's retired from the session. In the pits, I assume? I think he's in the pits, but I'm not really sure where he is. She's on the right side here, so I assume that is in the pits, right? I have no idea, but he's clearly either crashed out or content enough of his lap, so he's done and dusted now. We shall turn our attention to John, a reserve driver in this lobby, but very much one of the fastest drivers in the lobby. He will be challenging the podium positions, if not top 5. As he's finally not only a set of intermediate time, that's someone being very kind to John, driving onto the gravel to let the Rebel driver through. That's a little bit on the extreme side of things, but well done for... I have no idea how to pronounce that name. Trix? That's one for the post-race to discuss. John is up by 7 seconds on his second sector. It's because his previous lap time was set on the intermediate tyres. So I would expect this lap to go to the top 5 at least for John. Let's see where he can put his Red Bull onto out of the final corner. It's P7, that's slightly disappointing for John's standard, 15.1 only for the Red Bull driver, but I'm pretty sure he should be safe for the top 15. So Reitmeister is improving by 0.5 of a second, and he's about to come across the line to move himself out of the relegation zone. Into P10 goes Reitmeister. The Aston Martin should be safe as well. How about the Baby Drew? He's gone purple through the middle sector. That could be deceiving, obviously, because this is a game made by Codemaster still. And whether it's on EA server or Codemaster servers, this game, it's definitely not helping, because we have had a lot of desync in the early months of this game cycle. But the Baby Drew is looking good. He's going to crack the top 15. He's going to crack the top 10. It's P8 for the Baby Drew. So now, in the bottom 5 is Britain. And does he have enough time to get out of the pit still? I cannot see the time left, because people are getting out of the way of each other. So yellow flags are constant. There's only 25 seconds left. I think Britain has just been eliminated in qualifying 1. That is shocking. Unless my time is that bugged, but I don't think it should be bugged that much. And the AlphaTauri is not coming out of the pit still. So I think that is Britain and Pucci both out of qualifying 1, because Pucci has retired. That is a checker flag. So my time is absolutely synced. It's all down to Preco and Carras, and see whether they can improve. I think Carras has just started his final flying lap, as Preco is about to end his final flying lap. He needs about 2 tenths to replace Kofi inside the top 15. He's not going to invalidate through the final corner. Shortest run to the line. Preco goes P13, just about. By 0.3 of a second, he is safe, and Carras is not pushing. So that's it. Kofi, Britain, Pucci, Carras, and Darrow out of qualifying 1. That's gonna be bitterly disappointing for both of the Ferraris in their home round and Imola. Eliminated, and both AlphaTauris, so both of the Italian teams are completely out. And an Alfa Romeo, I believe. This is some sort of a sick joke that I'm watching here. And I mean, it's not sick, it's very funny to see the Alfa Romeos, the Ferraris, and the AlphaTauris being the bottom 6 of qualifying 1 in Italy. Well then, if this is real life, you wonder how much the home crowd is going to boo them to the hell. But this is a game, and sometimes the alternative strategy can be very useful here, especially in a 50% race. So we shall see then. Can any of them make it into the points? I believe they could. However, Imola is a circuit that's very, very difficult to make a move. So Anyway, that's qualifying 1 done and dusted. Vertex from Raju, from Phoenix, from Protocol, from Embassy, and Stanley Ghost Racing. The gap from P2 to P6 is actually only 600 of a second, but Vertex has 1.6 hundredths of an advantage over the rest of the field. We then have the rest of the grid making it through to Q1, apart from Kofi, Brisson, Pucci, Carras, and Darrell. So yeah, both Ferraris and both AlphaTauris out in Imola and an Alfa Romeo. You just wonder. Okay, Britton just texted me, he is not washed up. Well, then I don't understand why you think the medium tire run is good enough. I know I said it could be good enough, but still, as an insurance policy, you need to be at least on track for the final 2 minutes in any qualifying session, just to make sure that you are true. And you're not, and you're P17, and for someone that's currently 6th in the championship with 5 points, starting from P17 is utterly, utterly disappointing. Anyway, into Q2 we go. Again, if you want to comment on stream, I know you can't comment on this side, just put it in the general chat of the ERS Discord, and when I see them, I will respond to them. Q2 on the way then. I think the medium and soft delta here is too large for anyone to actually try mediums and make it into Q3, but we might just see some of the faster drivers try it out. For example, Vertex, Phoenix, John maybe? But I'm not sure if anyone's going to risk it. And I have absolutely no idea whether starting from P11 is going to have any benefits compared to if you actually make it into Q3 and have to start on old soft tires. Which you just said, he's starting on hards. See, hards. I absolutely hate hards on this game, whether it's 50%, maybe 100% hards will be in, but they, again, heavy fuel, hard tires, they don't work together. The amount of time you will lose in the first few laps on hard tires, especially on heavy fuel, is insurmountable. And for how slow you are going through that period of time, you are going to lose too much time that you really cannot gain back. However, in Imola, you can't really overtake, so maybe if you can hold on long enough on the hard tires, it might be a good strategy. It all depends on how it plays out, but this is really a track that depends on qualifying, and qualifying in P17 for Brisson is not going to do him any good at all. Anyway, let's focus on, well, Mogovan, since we're already on him. I haven't really mentioned his name in qualifying 1. Let's see how he does in qualifying 2 on the Red Wall soft tires, and I assume everyone should be. No, some of them are mediums. Interesting. So ERS has come out on intermediates in Q2. That's more rare than, I don't know, than Britain winning this race. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but Mogovan, that lap is ruined. Let's go to Stanley. 2nd in the championship, actually he's just starting his lap. So 4 drivers have come out on medium tire. That's Trix, Kriko, Raju, and Embassy. I think only Raju was in an Embassy. I think these 2 were in the top 5 in qualifying 1, but the rest won't. So maybe Raju and Embassy can make it through to Q3 on medium tires, but Stanley has just made a mistake as well. Let's go to Vertex. He's invalidated, so everyone is making mistakes. At the early part of Q2, as Raidmeister goes P1 with a 14.9, and Raju has also invalid, but is outlap, so that's fine. Sheps has invalided, Portugal has invalid, John is not, and he's in sector 2. And he's on a terribly slow lap, so he's backed off. Is anyone really doing a lap? Trix is completely out in the weeds. Harris is on intermediates. Vertex is pushing on, he's in lead again. I don't know who to watch. Is Raju the one to watch? He was P2 in Q1. He's on the mediums. So Pucci just said if he gets points today, he's running on the streets naked. Well, you're starting on P18, so you really need people in front of you to go George Russell. Well, what he did in the rain in last year to make up positions, because this is Imola, and you really have to rely on people making mistakes in front of you to gain any positions. And as soon as chicane goes around you, that's a pretty nice line on the medium tires. So good job to him. Both of the Aston Martins are about to come across the line. I think both of them actually pit. Is anyone gonna do a lap? Vertex has invalidated, I know that. Raju has not. It's a 15.6. I don't think he can make that into Q3. I don't think it's possible. Mogul has gone to P4 on his second lap, which really is not great. But, okay, ERS, are you gonna come in? No, he's gonna finish his lap on the intermediate tires and give a tow to the Red Bull behind as John goes P1 with a 14.6. Still, not as fast as Vertex in the first session, so definitely room for improvement for every single driver out there. Vertex has invalidated again. The provisional pole sitter from Q1 is choking. So let's move on to the championship lead then. Phoenix in the Williams. Take a lap around Imola again. Let's boost up the volume slightly and enjoy. And up to P2 goes the Williams driver. Is that safe? Question mark? It should be, right? Vertex? Is he on wrong? What's he doing? How's he invalidated again? No, he's on 1 lap of fuel. So Vertex is not going to set a lap time in the whole first part of this session. And that, you have to say, is quite shocking. The baby Drew then, coming around the final corner, can he set his first lap of the session? Yes, P4 with a 14.9, not a bad effort. So, I don't know what Vertex and Protocol are both doing. They've set 4 laps now on the same set of soft tires. They've not set a lap time. Are they just using old softs and just being out there? I have no idea. But either way, Trix now is on a lap. I still have no idea how to pronounce his name. I will call him Trix from now on. Just because I need to at least be consistent with the name calling. Trix. Trick or treats, as Halloween was passed. Oh, that's a corner cut, if I've ever seen one. So most people on their out lap, the baby Drew on his in lap, who is about to start a flying lap. I think is a Mercedes of Mogovan, and then behind him it's Stanley. Let's watch Stanley because he's on the mediums. Let's see how he does. This is quite risky, you know? Going out so late on a set of mediums. Is he that confident though? Currently in the vice champion spot in the league standings. Phoenix currently second and looking good to get into Q3. Stanley is gambling on the medium tires through turn 2, through turn 3, completely on the curbs and getting all sorts of oversteer. And that is a lap ruined for Stanley. Does he go again on mediums or does he pit and go safe with the softs? Because nobody, I think, is going to use a set of mediums for Q2. Mr. Dale is having trouble negotiating turn 3, but it's slightly better compared to what Stanley just did. Raju, meanwhile, is also on his lap after apparently going purple in the first sector. That can be deceiving again. So Verdeck and Pro to go, they were just playing around. Okay, they are now going to use the medium tires. So maybe, just maybe, they can make it through using medium tires. They've gauged what every other player in the lobby can do, and they think it's doable. So they have started on their flying laps respectively. Protocol actually is still on his outside, but Vertex has started turn 2, slightly wide turn 3, hold it in 4th gear. Interesting tactics there. Slightly missing the apex of turn 5, that's cost his rhythm through turn 6, but a very good turn 7 though. On the 4th gear up to full throttle. Turn 9 approaching, down to 5th gear, quickly going back to full throttle. There's all the power and juice now into this very, very tricky triple right-hander. And that was negotiated almost perfectly. Into the chicane, how does he do? Cutting the first part of the sausage perfectly, cutting the second part of the sausage fantastically. This is a great lap on display from TTG Vertex. Got P1 in Q1. Where can he go in Q2? Remember, this is on the medium tires. Through the final corner and coming across the line, opening up the ERS right now. It's a 14, it's a 15.0. Is that good enough? Protocol has invalidated. Stanley is on the lap. He's got a lot more cautious compared to Vertex through the chicane part. Is that going to cost him time? Meanwhile, Raju is about to come across the line to go pole by almost nothing. And up into P1 is Raju in the Red Bull. Where can Stanley go? It's P7, he's 2 tenths behind Vertex. Is that going to be good enough? See, I think Pro to go is going to improve. It all depends on these guys. Mr. Dale just improved. He's gone past Stanley. Does Stanley even have enough time to go back into the pits and change onto a set of soft tires? I don't think he does. I think he's saying to himself, I'll start on medium tires, regardless of whether I can make it into Q3 or not. I think he's gonna do that. So now, all eyes on Pro to go then. Can he make it into... No, he's invalidated again. Does he have enough fuel? Yes, his fuel icon has not popped up. He's gonna do a lap, or he's gonna be P15. This is do or die material for Pro to go, who definitely has top 6 pace here, judging by what he did in qualifying 1. So if he gets knocked out here, it's gonna be another shock, like Britain had in Q1. Chefs, meanwhile, through the final 2 corners. Is he gonna spoil the medium tire runners' parties? Let's find out. Through the final corner, up through the gears. That's a 1:14.6. That's P1 for Sheps. That moves Stanley down to P9, Vertex down to P7. Embassy can definitely improve. He's in the top 6 in Q1, if I remember correctly. Phoenix just goes top with a 14.5, but that doesn't matter. They've all made it through to Q3. The top 4 definitely are safe. How is Embassy's lap? It's looking good. It's looking very good. It's P2, in fact. I think everyone down to P8 is probably safe. Stanley is on the cut line. His car is still being moved back into the pits. Does he have enough time to go back out? Or is he going to be replaced by one of the drivers behind him? And I think with 50 seconds left, people are retiring in the pits. John has spun. Where the fuck are you? So he spun coming out of the chicane, but it doesn't really matter. He's safe. Through. Perfect. Not Prison. Creeker has spun. He will get a final try on the medium tires. For the goal is... He's invalidated again. Surely he doesn't have enough fuel. Surely Protocol is out. Is he? He's on 0.4 laps of fuel, right? That's 0. Something. That's Protocol of the session. That is. And so is Kriko. And Stanley has just been knocked down because someone moved up. I don't know who moved up, but Stanley is also out. I think ERS may have just moved up. Maybe. I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention, but mediums, you know? So all of Stanley, Rico, and Portugal will start on mediums, but not inside the top 10. If they make it into the top 10 on mediums, they could have started way higher. And I think Verdex may just won this race because he's the only runner that's into Q3 on medium tires, which means he can improve his time in Q3. I don't know where, but he can definitely improve, probably into the top 3 and start on medium tires. So it's looking perfect for Verdex. It's looking great for the likes of Phoenix, Embassy, Sheps, Raju and John. It's looking terrible for Stanley, Kriko and Protogirl, who really shouldn't be struggling down behind the top 10, but they've chosen to gamble. They put on the medium tires and they're out of Q2. John, cross the line, John. Cross the line. And thank you. He's on 30 laps of fuel. Oh, that's why he spun. Anyway, it's Phoenix, Embassy, Sheps, Raju, John, the top 5 in Q2. That doesn't really matter, to be honest. ERS made it through, Raidmeister made it through, the Baby Drew made it through. Verdeck is only one that's made it through on the medium tires, with Mr. Dale just edging out Stanley by 1/10 of a second in P10. So Q2 is not faster than Q1 for most of the field. That's because Verdex was not on the soft tires. But out of the session, Stanley, Kriko, Mogovan, Trix, and Portugal, who had 3 tries on the medium tires and invalidated all 3 times. Well, enjoy Q3. I will enjoy my chips because I'm feeling hungry. I'm gonna be on board with Verdex as he is the fastest driver so far through Q1 and Q2. So yeah, let's watch him. And I'll be back in a bit. Welcome back then. The short food and washroom break. It's currently Verdex on pole position by almost 4/10 of a second at 14.1. And he's pushing on his second lap, I think. So a huge gap for the McLaren driver. They're gonna start on medium tires. He's got everything in his hands, in his power to win this race. But as we all know, how is that not an invalidation? In the world of motorsports, unless you cross the finish line, anything can and may happen. That is literally the perfect line through the chicane. You can't do it better. That's as good as you get, cutting through both sausages to perfection. Slight locked up through the penultimate corner, actually that's the third to last corner, because this little right kink is also a corner apparently. This is turn 19 and this is a 114.0. That surely secures pole for Verdex. It's all about a game for P2 then, as Mr. Dale, who's made a mistake on his first lap, who's made a mistake on his second lap, goes straight into the pits. So with 3.5 minutes left, everyone will be on their final push lap. I think Verdex has just finished his qualifying session. He probably doesn't have another set of new softs, or he might. I don't know, but I don't think he needs to improve again. Let's see then. It's going to be Raju, who's the first to start his final flying lap. Apart from Verdex, obviously, who I believe has secured pole with a 14.0. I don't think anyone in this lobby has shown any kind of potential to go as quick as that. So Raju then, let's see. By almost 3/10 in the first sector. I think his 14.9 is probably set on a new set of softs, because he shouldn't be going that slow, or he's made a mistake that was about 3 to 4 tenths in his first flying lap, and now, brake just about too much I think. For the right-hander, you really have to find the right amount of speed. He's up by 4 tenths though. This could put him provisionally P2. Not a bad chicane either. 4th gear will give you a little bit more understeer compared to 3rd gear, but still very much clean. Now, down towards the final 2 real corners, slightly deep in the first section, but still good. And cautious exit coming out of the final corner. Is this good enough for P2? Yes it is! A 114.384 for Raju. He goes P2. Shep is on the end of his lap. He's down by 3 seconds. He needs to go again. Who's behind him? That's Raidmeister on an out lap. The baby Jew has just invalidated on his final flying lap. He will, however, have enough time to go back around and go again. So that's the advantage of going out early, and so has Embassy. So by going out early, if they invalidate on the first try, they will have another go at the end of the session. As Verdex's game just crashed, he's gonna be on pole, but is he gonna be able to rejoin the session then? It's the question, as one of the Aston Martins is in the gravel. That's Raidmeister, that's his qualifying down. He doesn't have enough time to go back around again. Phoenix has invalidated, he's gonna get 1 go left. The championship leader is under massive pressure, or he's gonna start from P10. He's facing the exact same issue as Pro to Go had in the middle qualifying session in Q2. So this is all or nothing for the championship leader Phoenix. Can he pull it out of the bag at the final moment? John has spun. John TF1 has spun, so he's not gonna improve. Is anyone improving? Chefs has invalidated. He probably doesn't have enough time to go again. Ratchet has retired in the pits. How about ERS? Is he on an improvement? I have no idea. He only needs a tenth to move up almost 3 positions, probably 2 tenths. There is checkered flag for Chefs. He's not going to improve. Is anyone going to replace his P3 lap time? Arias comes across the line. Yes, he does. It's P2 for the house driver. They couldn't do it in real life. They couldn't do it in esports. ERS has done it tonight. With a 114.317 to go to P2. The baby tries said purple in the middle sector. I don't think that's true. But can he do better? John has crossed the line to go P6 as we saw he spun on his final flying laps. That's going to be disappointing for the Red Bull driver. The baby Juing towards the final 2 corners. How's the Delta looking? Is it good enough to move up positions? It looks like he's going to go to P4. Yes, Embassy is right behind him, and Embassy takes P3 away from Raju. So improvements from Arias and Embassy to move up to P2 and P3 respectively. But the championship leader Phoenix, it's the final one to come across the line. It's only P6. It's only P6 for the championship leader Phoenix. The good news is, at least he did set a lap time, so he's not last. So a flurry of quick lap times, but none of them can beat TTG Verdeck, who takes his first pole of the season in his first, well, entry of the season around Imola. It's a dominant lap time by 0.3 of a second. Verdeck leads from Arias, who almost got beaten by Embassy, who eventually lost out by 19,000 of a second. Raju set an early lap time to go to P2, but he was displaced by Arias and Embassy in the dying seconds of qualifying. The Baby Drew and the Phoenix, the Williams drivers, will line up in the 3rd row ahead of Sheps in the Aston Martin and John TF1 in the Red Bull. The 5th row will be consisted of Aston Martin of Reimeister and the Haas of Mr. Dale J.E., who really didn't get it going because he was 2.5, almost 2.5, I think, to 2 seconds off the pace, regardless of verdicts. So he might have run out of tires. Who knows? You only get one new set in Q3, and if you mess up, you could be in trouble. It's sunny in Imola. It's a 50% race around this very, very historical circuit. But it's notoriously difficult to make an overtake around here. And how are the drivers in this lobby going to deal with the situation? Is anyone going to be able to challenge Verdeck, who's on pole and on medium tires? We will all find that out in the next moments after the formation lap, which is about to get underway. And away they go then for the formation lap of round 2 here. Let's look at the tires, shall we? So top 10, apart from Verdex obviously, on the soft tires. And then everyone down either on mediums or on hards. That's Kofi, Pucci and Darrow on hard tires. So both of the Ferraris are on hards. And the Alfa Romeo of Pucci have chosen to use the hardest tire possible to go as long as possible. They will hope for a late race safety car. But apart from that, it's going to be a struggle, shall we say, for them. Alright, I'm going to do the position change for the start of the race, because that can maybe show us who's got the best start and who's got all the stats. As Verdeck leads them then, down through the middle sector, in towards Aqua Minerale. I would say the hardest corners on this track. I mean, the second hardest in my opinion is Variante Villeneuve, the turn 5-6 section where you have to throw the car in. This chicane is very easy to cut, but it's not difficult to make your car through that. But through turn 5-6 and 11, 12, 13, there's a chance you can spin. But the chicane, if you get the exit right, you should be fine. You find the Ramada corners, the drivers will endure a lot of dirty air coming out of the Ravata onto the main straight. So that doesn't really help overtaking, but the straight is quite long, so if you're not stuck in the DRS train, there are opportunities to make the overtake. So Verdeck currently on 0 points because he didn't race in round 1, is on pole position. Our championship leader Phoenix is in 6th place. Stanley Goes Racing is in 11th, the best possible medium tire runners. And Raju, third place in the championship, will start from P4, and Raidmeister down in P9. It's not really that good for Raidmeister, because he's going to be on the used soft tires at the start of the race, and he's not that far up the field. I don't know why the camera is so backwards, so maybe we'll go to the onboard cameras. I have no idea. Are they going to change? Yes, they are. We're ready. 4, 5 red lights in Imola. It's lights out, and away they go. And Vertex obviously going to get a poor start on those medium tires, so ERS immediately takes over the lead, and Embassy is looking very dangerous behind him. ERS trying to go all the way around the outside of Vertex, and he takes the lead of the race. The two Williams are battling, and Sheps passes the Baby Drew into P6, and he's cut the corner, I think. Let's look at what happens here. It's chaos here, 3 wide almost, between the Williams, the Red Bull, the Aston Martin, and the Mercedes coming out of nowhere. Mugabe has made a Jesus Christ, he's made up 4 positions. Oh, someone has already retired. I think someone has already retired. Behind them, it's a virtual safety car. I think Trix just went fully into the wall. And what happened to Sheps? Sheps has also retired after making a good start. It's 2 drivers out of the race already, and Stanley, like I said, the best medium tire runner, is currently trundling down in P18, potentially with wing damage. If he does, I think he's going to lose his P2 in the championship. And somehow Vertex is back in the lead. Wow, Vertex is back in the lead on the medium tires. So after lap 1 of 32, we're going to rise here in Imola. It's Vertex on the medium tires, leading from ERS, from Raju. The VSC has just ended. Nobody gets a drive-through penalty. ERS is right on the ass of Vertex. And surely he's going to pass him, right? Is he? He's using his overtake. He's trying to go down the inside of Vertex. Who's going to be ranked latest? Oh, they're going side by side on turn 2. And they make contact. And where's Raju? Raju getting the best exit out of them all. But he cannot pass. Oh, Phoenix is round. Phoenix is round. Where's Phoenix? He's round. The championship leader has gone around on lap 2 of 32. Well, he is down to P17. The top 2 in the championship are now both having issues and out of contention, really, unless it's a safety car. Where's Kofi gone? He spun through the turn 5 and 6 section. That shows the hard tires are really bad, aren't they? And Phoenix dropping down a lot of positions. So did Embassy. Embassy has gone from P3 to P13. This is all kicking off there. And we still have a fight for the lead between ERS and Vertex, who are struggling on those medium tires. But we'll come to them eventually. So he has to hold on, but he's not really holding on. They're on pretty much equal DRS. Let's put the tire graphic back onto the screen. Oh, sliding out of the final corner for ERS, sliding out of the final corner for the Baby Drew. They all stay in formation so far. ERS will get DRS from this lap onwards. He's not going to get this DRS on the main straight because detection point was on lap 2. But he's very, very close to the back of Vertex, sliding through turn 2 though. As Phoenix has just passed Daryl on the hard tires. Embassy is making moves again after dropping down to P14. He's back up to P12. But a massive gap to the cars in front. Meanwhile, this yellow flag again. Is that Kofi again? I do not know what happened. But going back to John, who is right on the rear end of his team. Ooh, that's very sliding from ERS. Meanwhile, Protocol, where are they? He's past Mogoban, who's trying to retaliate through the next corners. Don't go side by side here. Mogoban backs out of it, and the virtual safety car is out. Because Kriko has retired. Where is he? His car has been removed, so Kriko is out. That's 3 drivers out of the session after 3 laps. Wow. Well then, this race has taken a turn very dramatically, as Embassy has also picked up a penalty and now he's in the pits. So a shocking start for some of the front runners, really, either in the race or in the championship. I think both Stanley and Phoenix really need a full safety car to pull them back into contention. I mean, Phoenix is some 10 seconds behind Pucci, who's incidentally in the point-paying position already. After 3 laps, the hard tire runner starting from P18, ERS, he's disconnected. What's he doing? What's happened? I think his wheel just disconnected. He's definitely not driving at full pace. Something is wrong. From the potential race winner, he's definitely going very, very slowly. There's another yellow flag in Sector 1. Embassy coming out of the pits has spun on brand new medium tires. And ERS is continuing to struggle. He's out with some kind of an issue. He definitely looks good for a podium. He was putting almost a second between himself and Raju, was really holding up this train behind him. But now, it's just made life so much easier for Verdeck, who I think it's going to cruise to victory here, unless Raju can somehow miraculously close the gap. But he wasn't doing so before the virtual safety car came out, and ERS has got a 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane, and he's out of the session. So definitely problems then, as Mogaba I think has made a spin of some sort, because he is now back down to PN just ahead of Pucci. So something happened to ERS, and Mogaba is going quite slowly here for some reason, because the hard runner of Pucci is on the back of him. Maybe Mogaba had a half spin and his tires are red hot. So an SSD issue then for ERS, as his game is continuing to stuttering and he couldn't really drive. John's gone. Where's John? I can't get him. I can now. Taras is out. Taras has crashed. And that is a safety car. Taras is out. What am I watching? He's out here. Whoa. That's a full crash. Just before where George Russell crashed a couple of years ago. But this time he crashed in dry conditions, and that may benefit the soft runners, because Verdeck doesn't pit, Pucci doesn't pit on the hards. How's the strategy looking then? Raju onto the hards, Raymaster onto the hards. Verdeck has been disqualified for ignoring yellow flag. He's passed the safety car. He's passed the safety car. He's been disqualified. And Pucci, starting from P18, he's leading. I repeat, he is leading on lap 6 of 32. Well then, so only 14 drivers left after 5 laps. I guess that's Imola, right? Alright, let's recount what's happened. So Pucci and Brisbane both haven't pitted on their starting tyres, are currently P1 and P2. Raju, the effective race leader, is in P3 on hard tyres. The Baby Drew effectively P2 is on hard tyres. Raymaster effectively P3 is on hard tyres. Daryl is starting on hard and he's not pitted. Protocol has chosen softs, which is going to make things very interesting. He needs another safety car to pull himself back in the race, I think, because the hard runners don't need to pit. Well, apart from Pucci and Daryl, who started on hards. But these three, Raju, the Baby Drew, Raymaster, don't need to pit. The Protocol has to pass them, build up a gap, hope for safety car, and then pit again. Mogoban is also going to the end. Mitsudo, I don't know if the mediums will go to the end, but he and Phoenix are both on the mediums. If there's another safety car, they could benefit. John is also on the medium tire, so is Kofi. And Stanley has just come out on hard, and so is Embassy. So everyone will now be in a queue. And this race has just gone from terribly terrible to okay for both Phoenix and Stanley, who are currently P1 and P2 in the championship. Just to recap what happened before or in the first 6 laps. So it was an incident with Shaps and Tricks. I don't think they are related, but both of them crashed out on lap 1 to trigger a virtual safety car. And when it came in, it was chaotic at the middle pack, especially after Rico's crash, which I really didn't catch on camera. I think that caused another virtual safety car, and when that virtual safety car came in, ERS ERS got, well, SSD issue, basically the equipment issue, has forced him to be out of the session. And then the most recent one is Carras crashing out through turn 9 and causing this full safety car, in which when Verdict passed the safety car, he got disqualified because you only get 2 seconds to go back behind the safety car if you pass the safety car for ignoring yellow flags. So there's really no time to react, as I have no idea why they're changing position under the safety car conditions, as Pro to Go and Mogoban were changing position, but that doesn't really matter. But so apparently Sheps was punted by the baby Zhu, who said Sheps was ghosting on his screen because there were lag. And yeah. So what are we doing now then? 14 drivers, still 26 laps to go. It's all kicking off here. And John just got a 5-second penalty because he went in the gravel and took Kofi out or whatever happened. So he's going to pit again because he needs to get rid of the 5-second penalty. He will be last of the bunch, P14, once the safety car came in. But at least he will serve his 5-second penalty and be out on a fresh set of medium tyres to go with the rest of the grid. So John is telling Kofi to retire. Apparently he's decent and hit John off and actually giving John a penalty. Now that might be caused because Kofi was typing in the chat, so he might be tapped out. And when you tapped out to AI and tap back in, the car will jump around like crazy. I mean, it's Codemasters after all. Oh, John has completely cut that corner. That might be a warning. Is he going to catch the half-a-minute gap to the end of the safety car queue? I believe he probably can, so he'll be fine to go then. I am quite speechless about what has happened on my commentary comeback, really. For English commentary at least, I've been commentating real-life events such as the World SBK and, oh, Preachy, that's very dangerous. Well, such as World SBK, MotoGP, NASCAR, and Extreme E for the Chinese company. But it's been about, I think, a quarter of a year that I've commentated in English, and we have seen what we have just seen. And don't crash into each other, please. Gotta be careful. When is Pucci gonna go? He's gonna leave it very late. I think he is. You know, he's on the hard tires. He's on very used hard tires. He's going now. It's back to green flag conditions with 24 laps to go. 9 laps, well, lap 9 of 32 I should say. There's a fight here because Daryl is on hard tires. Pro to Go is trying to pass him on the soft tires. He should get him, he's tapping him. And Mogaban has nowhere to go, going all the way around the outside. Or is Daryl, but he is always round. Daryl is round. I can't find him. And he's taken Mr. Dale with him. I think Mr. Dale couldn't avoid a spinning Daryl. So both of their races are now ruined if there's no safety. I don't think John caught up yet. John didn't catch up to the end of the pack. So, well, John is having to struggle here. And Pro to Go actually pick up a penalty by going down the inside of Daryl to make up position. He needs to make up positions fast, because everyone ahead of him is either on hard tires or on very, very old mediums. Look at the traction he's going to get. Going try to, oh, Raidmeister, so that was a bit dangerous. He's going to go down the inside of Raidmeister, in towards the chicane, just putting his car to the inside and making the move stick. As Mr. Dale, I think, has had another issue. No, actually, that's Daryl out of the session. He might have retired himself. That's a full safety again. So John has been saved. Daryl is out. That's 7 drivers after 8 laps out of the session. The frontal doesn't pit. Raju fakes a pit. Is anyone actually gonna pit? Yes. Phoenix has pitted. Why though? Another set of mediums to the end maybe is the way to go? Let's see. Hards? Mediums? Mediums. Okay, so I think he doesn't think this set of mediums can go to the end, but now he thinks he can. So 3 seconds for Pro to go, Kofi, Embassy and Miss Dale. And this safety car is not going to help Pro to go at all. It's too early. And now he's a penalty as well, so Vertex did overtake the safety car and got disqualified. Well, he shouldn't have overtaken the safety car under any circumstances, to be honest, because you really only get 2 seconds to return the position. And when the safety car is stationary, you can't really go into reverse and that quickly, inside 2 seconds. And Mr. Dale is out. He's given up. Or has he retired on track as well? I have no idea, but he's parked it, coming out of turn 4. And that is 8 drivers out of the session in 9 laps. Or in 10, depending on how you count them. We're going to have a 12 driver race for the final 22.5 laps around Imola. I mean, incidents can still happen. We've seen some overtakes as well. But this is as chaotic as it gets. I don't know how I'm going to edit the highlights. I just put the first 10 laps in. Because I don't think any of the first 10 laps can be cut out and classified as no highlights. So Stanley is in. Okay, mediums to the end, maybe? He's only going to drop 1 position, so why not, right? And he's not got a penalty, I believe. Softs? Oh yeah, he did use the mediums in the second qualifying session, didn't he? And John, why have you dropped down again? He's trying to repass Embassy. Okay. He's not repassing Embassy. They're going side by side under safety car conditions. And Embassy turns in and takes P9. Well, that's some of racing for you under the safety car between the Mercedes and the Red Bull, like they always do in real life. Whoa, you are not George Russell. Why are you driving like George Russell? Who was that? Was it a baby Drew? Believe it was, right? I mean, no offense to George himself, I like him. I probably overused the joke too much, so I will shut up about George Russell from now on, but that was kind of sketchy. One of the cars were definitely on the grass. And, you know, Formula 1 cars are not made to drive on grass. This is not the World Rally Championship. The safety car should be coming at the end of this lap. I'm not sure if I've seen the map. Ooh, Phoenix is round. He's lost his end plate. Well, that is him out of contention. The championship leader is out of contention. Unless there's another safety car. We're about to end this one though. Into the final few corners we go. Pooch is waiting. I'm going to go on board with Pro to go because he's on the soft tires. And away they go then. It's a good restart from Raju. It's actually, they're still slowing down. The safety car is not going in. What is this? What? So Pooch slowed them down. But the safety car was not coming in, and John is going side by side with Embassy again, and Phoenix, all of a sudden, had just been saved. As Stanley has finally walked out, he needs to be on the mediums to go to the end of the session, so he's gone for the right strategy. Phoenix putting on a set of medium tires that he's already used, and a new front wing. And we're not going. I didn't see the safety car in message. So I didn't understand why Pooch was holding them up. I thought I missed it. They wasn't paying attention. Apparently there wasn't a message. So another lap behind the safety car. I think Phoenix spin, or rather Stanley's not catching up, has made the safety car go around for 1 extra lap. And that almost caused a big pileup like they did in... I forgot the track. What was the track where they had a huge pileup last year's Formula 1? God, my brain just went blank. Is the safety car in this lap then? Yes. Okay. Back on board with Portugal. He's got a penalty. He's on the soft tires. He's definitely going to make another pit stop. And how far can he overtake up to before he makes his pit stop? Let's see then. It's getting darker as well. The sun is coming in. Is it possible for rain even? Is this chaotic race gonna get more chaotic? It's a terrible restart, you have to say, from Portugal. Meanwhile, they're fighting behind. So John is on the back of Embassy again. These two are going side by side under the safety car. So I assume they won't be very kind to each other. Now that the safety car is in, Embassy brakes a little bit later than John through turn 2. He's catching up to Kofi though, who's had a struggle wrong through turns 3 and 4. Embassy's on hard tires. Kofi turns in, leaves enough gap, but the understeer from the curb is gonna push Embassy. Oh my Jesus Christ! I can't believe John just did that. I can't believe I was on board with John, and I completely caught that on camera. That's a moment that needs to be rewatched a lot, as Stanley just went down the inside of Kofi through Tosa corner, and now Phoenix is going all the way around the outside of Kofi for P11 as well. So both Stanley and Phoenix, the current top 2 in the championship, are on a comeback trail. John will pass people. He's on mediums to the end. A lot of drivers ahead on hards. Portugal though, he really needs to make the move. I think John might be in the best possible position here. If he can make the overtake, that is. Meanwhile, Pucci and Brizzen, this is a fight for the lead. Using all of his overtake is Brizzen. He's got past Pucci on the main straight, on the medium tires. And Portugal dives down the inside of the Baby Jewel, and I don't think the Baby Jewel was fighting that one, because hards on softs, there's really no point holding Portugal up. Raju meanwhile fakes the inside, trying to scare Pucci off the line, and he does. Pucci off the line through turn 5 and 6, no, Portugal hit him. Portugal hit Raju, and now down the inside of the Tosa corner through turn 7, Portugal is going to get better traction coming out of the corner on those soft tires. And surely, yeah, Raju backs out of that one. Another clever move from these hard runners that are going to the end. The top 2 cannot go to the end, remember? Brizzen and Pucci still had to pit. Pucci brakes really late on those hard tires, and he makes the apex perfectly. No, he doesn't. He's gone wide on the exit, and he also picks up a 3-second penalty. Portugal, don't dive here. This chicane is very narrow. Now go for it, maybe? Yeah, he is going for it. Oh, John is round. I've jinxed John, haven't I? I said he was in the best position. He's not anymore. He's had a full spin. Oh, understeer for Pucci. But he controls himself and let Portugal through. So in the space of one lap, Portugal has overtaken 3 drivers from P5 all the way up to P2. And he is within 1 second of Brizzen. So surely a move very soon to be made. But a move is to be made for P3. Raju on the inside. The Baby Jewel on the inside. Pucci is getting eaten alive. On those way older, harder tires, Pucci just doesn't have the pace. They're too old. Yellow flag, that's John again. Surely he's going to retire now. No, he's going to continue. I mean, I have no idea what happened to him. He's pretty fast. Top 6, or definitely had top 5 pace in qualifying, but choked it. Started P8. And in the race, he's struggling really, really badly. Meanwhile, Pucci is wide again through turn 13. And Raidmeister putting on the overtake. Is he going to dive it through the chicane? No, he thinks better of it. That's, again, clever driving from the drivers who remain. Perhaps not so clever driving from the ones that have crashed out. Well, some of them maybe not through their own fault, but we're not seeing the cleanest race possible tonight. As Portugal is about to line it up on Brizzen. I don't think Brizzen's going to fight this one. Yeah, he's not using his overtake. I don't know where the camera is. That's why I don't like you to use TV broadcast cameras, because they never catch the action. What they did here is Raidmeister going all the way around the outside of Pucci. That's a brilliant move. And Embassy and Stanley have both passed Mogavan. So up into P7 is Embassy, up into P8 is Stanley on those fresh medium tires. And John pits. Is he going to retire? Not yet. So a training session going on for John. Maybe another safety car could come out and he might be saved. We're going to go on board with Stanley now because he's got the best tires currently that's in the battle. Protocol will stretch out away the gap, but I still think he needs a safety car, man. It depends on how fast he can push these soft tires and how long he can go. But I think if there's no more safety car, Protocol is in a tough spot, especially with the penalty. Phoenix is also trying to make moves on Mogovan. Mediums against hards. Pucci, that's a 3-second penalty. That's all of the good hard work undone. As Phoenix is also on the exit of the chicane, picks up a penalty. The bad news for Stanley is Embassy has DRS on Pucci. The good news for Phoenix is he has DRS on Mogovan, and Mogovan doesn't have DRS. So it's probably more likely that Phoenix will make a move on the main straight. In fact, he's already onto the rear end of Mogovan, and this surely is going to be an easy move. Ooh, they make contact. Wow. I don't know who turned into whom, but they actually made wheel-to-wheel contact between Phoenix and Mogovan. Really unnecessary from both parties. Absolutely no idea who's at fault at that, but yeah, could have been better there. It could be cleaner. And indeed, Stanley didn't make the move on Embassy, and Embassy didn't make the move on Pucci because Pucci had DRS. He doesn't have it now. He's being dived. Embassy is on the inside, and he pushes Pucci away to the edge of the track, and Stanley takes full advantage by getting a terrific exit coming out of the corner, and past Pucci goes the Alpine driver. So as things stand, Stanley will gain 2 points on Phoenix, which will move him to 1 point behind Phoenix in the championship. However, Raju being in P3 might gain a bunch of points on both of them. And Raju is in an effective P1 as well, because both Protocol and Brizan still have the pit. Speaking of the devil, he's about to make the move on Brizan. Way newer hard tires against pretty old medium tires. He's on the overtake. Surely the straight is long enough. He's turned his overtake off because he thinks it's enough. He's going to go to the outside. Brizan lets him go. Didn't fight that one because he also needs a pit. So no point really holding the faster drivers behind them. So now it's all down to the baby Drew to try to make the same move. However, he will have to be patient here because you don't get DRS after this. Oh, Brizan putting the car in the middle of the track, trying to eliminate any threat from the Williams behind. See that? Surely counter-attack here. And the baby Drew getting held up. He's now almost 9/10 behind Raju. This is perfect for Raju, because Raju can pull away by more than a second over the baby Drew. Then he will be out of the DRS window for the baby Drew. Well then, that's another Red Bull gone around in turn 13. And he is down to P11. This is the race. He can gain on both Phoenix and Stanley, and Raju has completely thrown it away. Both Red Bulls are out of the points. And through their own faults, I would imagine. So the baby Drew is now in the net lead position. If there's no more safety car to come out, which I don't think there will be, because... Oh, that's a... That's an interesting move that by the baby Drew. I don't think Brizan was fighting that one regardless, but he almost faked himself onto the grass, and he did fake himself onto the grass very dangerously. As Phoenix passes Pucci to move up into P7, so Phoenix is still within a shout of a potential top 5 here. However, he also does have a penalty, so he doesn't want any more safety cars to come out, I think. Because with that penalty, if there's another safety car and everyone bunches up, then whoever that has the penalties will suffer. So now, Raidmeister needs to catch up to Brizan, and he is. Those medium tires are struggling. 18 laps away now. I'm pretty sure Brizan is holding them out as long as possible to go on to the soft tires for his final stint. And Raidmeister has caught Brizan really fast. So he will get DRS, Embassy will get DRS, Stanley will get DRS. And I think Raidmeister can make the move on the straight, but for Embassy and Stanley, they're probably going to struggle behind them. And Phoenix is trying to catch this group. See that Stanley has quite a lot of overtake. He has a lot of overtake. Brizan pits. So surely Soft tires, right? And now Raidmeister has lost the slipstream, but he still does have ERS. So these three are going to try to close the gap to the Baby Drew, who is effectively the race leader here at Imola. Stanley is on medium tires, but they will wear out sooner. So he really needs to make the moves now, but he's getting stuck in the DRS train, getting dirty air, and getting out of shape. The good news for him is Raidmeister and Embassy both have penalties, and Stanley doesn't. So even if they finish as they are right now, Stanley will still be in P2. Raju, meanwhile, has caught to the back of Kofi, who's really not had any pace today. Imola looks to be one of the tracks that he struggles a lot. And he's just trying to survive. You can see how much the rear end is moving. Is he going to defend this one? Oh, he is. And I think Raju should have backed out. Going side by side through there really wasn't that good. But I think Kofi is backing out now. Yep, he's lifting off the throttle and letting Raju through. So eventually Raju does make the move. And you can just see how much Kofi is struggling. And Britain is so far behind in the pack. I don't think Portugal's strategy is going to work at all if there's no more safety car. I don't think there will be another one. There's only 12 drivers left. Surely there's no more big incident to trigger a safety car. If this group cannot work together to catch the Baby Drew, the Alpine driver might have had this in the bag. Or the Williams driver, I believe. Is it? Oh, Raju has been re-overtaken by Kofi. You can see how much Kofi is struggling on the corners. He might have the wrong setup. He might be rapid on the straights and terrible in the corners. You can see how much later Raju is able to brake on those hard tires. I'm pretty sure Kofi is either struggling due to some other reasons, or his setup is just pretty terrible, maybe. Not suitable for long runs. Maybe good for, I mean, he qualified P16 to be fair, so not even good for single lap as he picks up a 3-second penalty right on cue, so... yeah, really struggling the Ferrari driver. Now Raju also picks up a 3-second penalty. So Raju will still be an effective ninth place, but he could have been P2. Just think about it. Could have been P2. Or P1, effectively. Because he was behind Portugal, who has to pit still. That's a terrible exit from Stanley. He's not going to get close by making so many mistakes. And Phoenix is only 1.3 seconds back. This is P1 versus P2 in the championship. Meanwhile, Embassy has actually made the move. He's used all of his overtake to pass Raidmeister. And can he catch up to the Baby Drew? Mogova, meanwhile, has passed Pucci to move up into P7. Pucci still has to pit. Oh, Embassy has been repassed by Raidmeister. Or... yeah, they were changing positions once again, as this is all holding them up. This is exactly what the Baby Drew wants to see, and the Baby Drew is catching up to Portugal, who's struggling on those 15-lap older soft tires. Obviously, they've only done about 10 laps, but that's still very long for the soft tires. So it's all looking very good for the Baby Drew at the moment. He needs to keep it on the road though. Raidmeister and Embassy are no threat to the Baby Drew because they have penalties, but it's all about Stanley. Can he find a little bit extra juice to pass the two hard runners in front of him and then get to the Baby Drew? He's been really frustrated by those hard runners. It's a mistake from Embassy coming out of the chicane, but Stanley wasn't close enough. He couldn't pounce on that. Steady yourself, get a good exit coming out of the final corner, which he doesn't again. Look at the gap, just stretching away to 0.4 of a second again. As Britain picks up his first 3-second penalty, he's going to try to catch up to the pack, but that penalty is not going to help his course. Embassy, meanwhile, dives down the inside of Raidmeister. He couldn't make the re-overtake work, but Raidmeister is catching up to the Baby Drew. So that's good then, as John, what on earth are you doing? He spun again at turn 13. The corner that's said to be the most difficult corner on this track. The Aquamillerani corner, and he's finally retired from the session. There's no point continuing. He's out. And the safety car is out. So by retiring on track, John has caused a safety car, and John has done Portugal a huge favor. If Portugal wins this race from now, he needs to buy John a drink. I can't speak. Because John has just caused a safety car that may have just handed Portugal the victory. at Imola. As John types in the chat, he didn't mean to crash again, he just spun after trying to recover from the grass. So yeah, I thought retiring on track wouldn't really cause a safety car. And apparently the reason he's struggling is because he changed the wheel settings before the race. So that's why he spun by about a bajillion times. So this race has effectively turned into an 8-lap sprint race, everyone on brand new soft tyres. And Pucci, by not pitting, by holding on long, he's ahead of Britton now, and Britton is the big loser in this situation. Portugal is the biggest gainer, and so is Pucci, to be fair, because after he pitted, if there's no safety car, he would have been behind Britton and probably been P last. This will also put Kofi back into contention, however he's on slightly older actually now. He's put on a new set of soft tyres which I think will still be a little bit older, because in a full qualifying you really use all the soft rubbers in qualifying, so there will be about 5 to 6% warm maybe. And Stanley is ghosting through Embassy. So Embassy is not going to repass Stanley, but he couldn't. I think Embassy may have tapped out. Embassy going to try again. Can he stay in front of Stanley this time? No, the game wouldn't let him to. And now it's all bunching up behind them. Embassy is going to try again. No, still not. I think by maybe pausing the game and tapping out, the game has decided, no, you drop back a place, and he does. Now Stanley drops back and gives the position back. I don't know if the game, or no, Embassy couldn't make the move. He needs to drop back the position, and now Stanley has to move out of the way to try to make the game think he's out of the session. And I think he's successful now. Finally, the order is restored. Whether Stanley was told by the game to re-give the position, or he gave the position by his own through, sportsmanship, we don't know. But I think the order is restored here, with Embassy ahead of Stanley. So everyone on penalties will be troubled. Let's look at the penalties then. 3 seconds for Portugal, 6 seconds for Raymeister, 3 for Embassy, 3 for Phoenix, 6 for Pucci, 3 for Raju, 3 for Britton, and 6 for Kofi. So it's looking really good for the Baby Drew and Stanley, because they don't have any penalties. Are they doing it again? Or are they just dropping back? I think they're just dropping back slightly. Yeah, I don't think there's any repass to be seen there. So let's move on then to Portugal. He's got the driver's seat. He needs to pull away by 3 seconds though. There will be 8 or 7 rather laps to go by the end of this lap, when the safety car is going to come in definitely at the end of this lap. So 3 seconds in 7 laps is what Portugal needs to do. And to keep within 3 seconds of Portugal is what the Baby Drew needs to do. Portugal probably needs either Raidmeister or Embassy to make a move on the Baby Drew to hold him up slightly, so that he can pull away a gap. Because pulling away by 3 seconds over 7 laps is going to be really, really hard around Imola. You can see Portugal is applying throttle and brake at the same time to burn some fuel, because with the incredibly high amount of safety cars in this race, all of them will be on very much plus fuel at this stage. So, Portugal leading from the Baby Drew, Raidmeister, Embassy, Stanley, Phoenix, Pucci, Mogoman, Raju, Britton, and Kofi. The final 11 runners on a 7-lap sprint race around Imola. It's all down to Portugal to say go, go, go. He's still not going. Around turn 18, the final real corner, and coming out of turn 18, he's deployed his overtake. He got a perfect restart by 0.6 of a second over the Baby Drew. It's green flag conditions here, and we have a side-by-side moment between Pucci and Phoenix. And Phoenix getting the shifting from Stanley. Stanley's really still on the straights. Pucci trying to go around the outside, and he does well to back out of there, but Phoenix was on the curb, he was struggling, and Pucci trying to go all the way around the outside of turn 4. to try to pass Phoenix, but he's again on the wrong side of the track through turn 5, so he had to back out again as Embassy picks up his second 3-second penalties. So he is on 6 seconds now for Embassy. And that is terrible news for the Mercedes driver. He's basically on level field with Raidmeister, but he will drop back from Stanley, from Phoenix, and maybe even from Mogovan, who still doesn't have a penalty. Mogovan could move up a lot of positions there. If the driver is in front and not careful, he's somehow kept it very clean, and he doesn't have a penalty yet. So is anyone going to make a move before the DRS gets enabled? I don't think anyone is close enough. Stanley has lost a lot of ground to the cars in front because he was knotted in a battle with Phoenix and Pucci as the restart commences. So Pro to go then, leading by 7/10 of a second with 6 laps to go. Can he pull away by 2.3 seconds more to get the victory? He needs a gap. There's definitely no more safety car from now on because there's not enough laps left. So it's all down to pure pace for the Alpine driver, who's incidentally currently nowhere in the standings actually, because Pucci has another penalty because Pro to go didn't race in the first round as well. So the point situation would be really, really interesting here, because if the Baby Drew gets away, he will be the championship leader, surpassing Phoenix, Stanley, Raju and Raidmeister, all of them in one race. It's all down to the next lap, or from the next lap onwards though, because the DRS will be enabled from lap 28 onwards. Pro to go is pulling away by 1 second. That's the window he needs, and he's not really used more overtake compared to the Baby Drew. And this is looking really good now for Pro to go. He needs to keep this pace up though. So the final 2 corners, he's pulling away again, 1.2 seconds in fact, ahead of the Baby Drew. He's out of DRS range. He set the fastest lap of the race, which will be 1 point to Pro to go's name. And the DRS is enabled. The Baby Drew has just burned all of his overtake to go within the 1 second window that he desperately needs to be within. And he's not really in it. He's going to use the rest of his overtake just trying to get within 1 second. But when drivers are pushing this hard, it's also very easy to make a mistake as Mogovan goes all the way around the outside of Pucci, who's not going to be attacked by Raju, with Britain going all the way around the outside. What's going to happen here? Raju is still down the inside, Britain doesn't get better traction. So Mogovan moves up 1 position, and the rest stays the same. Raju now looking very impatient behind a struggling Pucci. Remember, he only qualified in P18, so he's not that fast. But he's remained in this race, and whoever that remains in this race will really get points. I think Pucci is going to be the odd one out because he's got the most amount of penalties. So I don't think Pucci is going to get points, but he's going to try to at least be within the top 10 on track. And the Baby Drew, kudos to the Williams driver. I think he's within 1 second of Pro to go. He's used all of his overtake, yes, but he's got the DRS, and that's devastating. Devastating for Pro to go. Because with 4 laps to go, surely it's not going to be enough for Pro to go. His lights are also flashing. He's not pulled away. He was pulling away. He was so close to pulling away by over a second, but he couldn't do it in the end as Raju picks up another penalty by passing Pucci, so maybe he's gotten off the track while making the move. But he's moved up to P8 on the road, at least for now. But through penalties, I think P8 will be Britain's if they stay as where they are. And he is... oh, Phoenix! Embassy is out! Embassy has crashed! Embassy is out of the race! Embassy has crashed coming out of Tosa! And that means everyone that's left in the lobby will get points! Embassy has just thrown away a P4! And I believe 8 points to go with it. He might have dropped down to P5 or even P6 with the penalties, but still... he would have got points. He's out of the Imola Grand Prix. Oh, it's over second. It's over second. Did he get DRS? He did. The Baby Drew just got DRS again. But now, Pro to go needs Raidmeister to try to tag the Baby Drew. The Raidmeister is about 5.2 seconds ahead of Mogovan was just being passed by Raju as Phoenix dives down inside of Stanley to move up into P4, but Stanley doesn't fight that one because he doesn't need to. Phoenix the penalty, Stanley doesn't. And Stanley could be in P3 at this rate if Raidmeister don't pull away more. Raju, meanwhile, he's past Mogovan, but not really past Mogovan because Mogovan doesn't have any penalty at all. And Kofi, somewhere in the last lap, has also made another spin. And now he is dropped back, way back. So Kofi will finish P10, probably. And Pucci will finish P9, probably. But the rest of the field, there's still positions to be gained. Can Baby Drew keep it clean as well? He's getting pulled away though. It's over a second, I think. Oh, I think Protocol just ran out of overtake at the end of the straight. Did he get it? I don't think he got it. I think it was 1.007 when the DRS detection point was over. Yes! So Protocol has pulled away by over a second. He's got 2 laps to go to pull away by 2 more seconds. Is that possible? I don't think it is. Stanley, meanwhile, is just going to cruise past Phoenix with the help of DRS. And up into P4 goes Stanley. I don't think Phoenix is fighting that one either because he knows he has the penalty. So both of these drivers are not really fighting for the position. Mogovan, meanwhile, is right on the back of Raju, who's defended the inside lines through turn 2 and 3, which means he's got poor exit coming out of turn 4 and he's trying to defend the inside lines through turn 5, and he takes the position, or maintains the position of P6 ahead of Mogovan. They've also got Britain behind them, but Britain doesn't really need to make a move either because even if he passes both of them, he would still be finishing in P7. So it doesn't really matter in terms of the penalties. So the real thing is, oh, the Baby Driver made a mistake. The Baby Driver made a mistake, but he's 1.3 seconds back. Protocol has not pulled away by enough. Raidmeister, the Baby Driver is pushing. He's pushing so hard. He's sliding everywhere. It's up to 1.6 seconds almost. If Raidmeister gets past the Baby Jewel, I think the Williams driver just needs to let him go. He needs to not fight through the corners to lose more time. He's still within 3 seconds of Protocol, and by that, he will win the race. But Raidmeister is about to pass him. Raidmeister will pass him. The Baby Jewel should let him go. He should let him go. Is he letting him go though? I think he backs out of that one. Yes. So he's going to tuck back in. He's 1.5 seconds behind Protocol. He's still good enough to finish in P1 as Phoenix passes Stanley again, but Phoenix will still finish P5. Stanley will still finish in P4. That still doesn't matter. It's all down to Protocol then. How much gap can he pull away from Raidmeister as a Baby Drew? It's got no ERS left. I believe none of them will have any ERS left. They're all down to less than 10%. It's a gap of 1.9 seconds. Protocol is edging away, but he might just run out of laps. How's Baby Drew's nerve? How's Protocol's nerve? It's up to 2 seconds now. But they only got 4 corners to go. Protocol picked up another penalty. And that, Protocol picked up another penalty. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a victory for the Baby Drew. Protocol pushes and pushes with all he can. But he's still going to finish in P2. Protocol finished in P1 on the road, but the Baby Drew takes the victory in Imola. Ahead of Protocol, Stanley moves up into P3 after the penalty comeback. Raidmeister finishes in P4 ahead of Phoenix, ahead of Mogovan. Britain without the wheel. Raju is in P8, Pucci crashing into Britain after they cross the finish line, and Kofi will finish in P10, the final driver to finish a chaotic race around Imola. Driver's Day goes to Protocol. Well, he tried it. He got lucky with the John safety car, but he really tried it. The Baby Drew from the United Kingdom takes victory at Imola. Wow. Protocol finishing P2, and Stanley, by virtue of having no penalties, move up 2 positions after the penalty was counted. And Raidmeister finishes in P4 ahead of Phoenix, Mogovan, Britain, Raju, Pucci, and Kofi. So what does that mean for the championship then? Phoenix will be on 21 points. The Baby Drew will be on 21 points. Stanley will be on 22 points. So 3 points separating the top 3 in the championship from Stanley, Phoenix, and the Baby Drew. Raidmaster will be behind them on 16 points, and so is Pro the Girl. Raju, meanwhile, will be on 12 points, or actually no, 13 points, I beg your pardon. And the rest of them, somewhere apart, shall I say. But that was entertaining. That was incredible. That was one of the the most unpredictable and the most chaotic races I've ever watched in this league. After being in the league for about 2.5 seasons, really. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been HCE commentating Exalted Racing Series for Season 3, Round 2 around Imola. We'll see you next Thursday around Baku for Round 3. Good night.